Donald Trump has wiped out Joe Biden's fundraising advantage with the help of a donation from a fortune of a different era. New filings reveal that the Republican candidate, Donald Trump, has nearly $117 million in cash on hand, Joe Biden around $92 million. And this is because the recluse billionaire and heir to the Mellon dynasty, Timothy Mellon, gave $50 million to the Trump campaign. Wealthy donors are becoming essential and key players in this campaign. You have the likes of Blackstone's chief executive, Steve Schwarzman, who says he's backing Trump. The Winklevoss twins donated $2 million in Bitcoin to the Republicans. And then the $50 million from Mellon, who's so reclusive we don't even have a photo of him. Now, it's not all one way. Joe Biden has his own roster of millionaires and billionaires. For example, Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, gave $20 million. Reid Hoffman's been a big donor. And Hollywood firmly in the Biden camp, with celebrities like George Clooney and Julia Roberts at that fundraiser at the weekend, brought in $30 million. Teddy Schleifer covers campaign finance for the New York Times. He joins me now. Is this different to previous elections? I mean, the money, we know there's vast amounts, but then there will be by nature of inflation. But is the trend of the where and hows and what's different?
It is. Look, a $50 million donation has never been seen before, at least in an iteration like this, where there's one check that comes from one person on one evening or one afternoon. I was reading back on the 2012 campaign, Richard, which was sort of the first campaign after Citizens United. People may remember that Sheldon Adelson was a huge player in the 2012 Republican primary, and so much was made about the amount he spent for Newt Gingrich. That was $20 million. And that was like, no one had ever heard of a check like that. The zeros keep getting added. And it's not hard to imagine a scenario 10, 20, 30 years from now when $50 million donations aren't really that spectacular.
All right. So when we have how much of what we just saw with the Mellon, I mean, even if we strip out the Mellon per se, how much of that is just Trump catching up versus reestablishing a new order?
Well, look, I mean, Trump has spent a lot of time catching up, and the new order that's been established is parity. It is now June. It is the beginning of the summer. And the Trump campaign and the Biden campaign, we don't know all the specifics, are pretty close to, a break even here, which you could argue that's just, that's how campaigns work. People raise a lot of money, but and eventually everyone catches up. But for the last couple of months, the Biden campaign had a huge advantage, which you could argue they squandered. And certainly the Trump people argue they squandered it because, Trump, as of right now, is looking pretty competitive in the polls. The Biden campaign had a big cash advantage. They spent a ton of money on advertising over the last several months when Trump himself was relatively poor. And it's not clear that that really made much of a difference. So if you're the Trump campaign, you're feeling pretty good right now. You feel like you're at financial parity without really wasting any money.
What do you think this election? Have you got a sort of, if you suck your finger and think of a number, what do you think this election's going to cost? How much do you think they're going to go to the two campaigns? I mean, are we talking $1 billion each?
Oh, I think it'll be more than $1 billion each. I reported a couple months ago that the Biden campaign was sort of looking for, a $2 billion total spend here. Look, I mean, the reality is it's kind of hard to come up with an exact number. So much political spending these days is done through nonprofits and dark money groups that don't even disclose their donors or the amount they're spending. These elections are important. And frankly, as someone who's covered campaign finance for the last 10 years, I'm often amazed that more money isn't spent, given that politics matters. And there are lots of wealthy people, and $50 million might be a lot to us, but it's not to some people out there.
Teddy, can you imagine? I mean, I can't. Can you imagine being able to write a check for $50 million and it doesn't even hurt?
I just spent, $18 on a salad today, and I didn't feel great about it. But I can afford it, right? And there's an element of that when you talk with wealthy donors, where $50 million is obviously a lot. But if you talk with people about kind of their philanthropic contributions, or frankly how much they gain or lose in kind of the public markets every single day, That's not a lot if you
Yep.
believe that the country is in dire need of some transformation one way or another. And lots of wealthy donors see this as akin to philanthropy. It's their way of making the world reflect their values. And it just so happens that the political system allows rich people to spend as much money as humanly possible to do it.
Teddy, you are now on the Quest Means Business speed dial as we go into this election, and we'll be hopefully talking to you more as we move forward. I'm grateful to you, sir. Thank you.